The Special Cup is traditionally the last Nitro Cup in every Mario Kart game. It's usually known for three things: having Bowser's Castle, Rainbow Road, and being the hardest cup in the entire game. But at the same time, I think a lot of people would say that the Special Cup is the best cup in almost every Mario Kart game, and is always a ton of fun. I've already ranked every other Nitro Cup, so naturally it's time to finish them. So today I will be ranking every Special Cup in Mario Kart from worst to best. As always, keep in mind that these are my personal opinions, so you will not agree with everything that I say, but make sure to post your own rankings in the comments below. Once again, no surprise that Super Mario Kart is coming in dead last. The first 4 tracks in the cup are all variations, and also Vanilla Lake 2 is a horrible course. But the last one just happens to be the first ever Rainbow Road, and while this version certainly isn't my favorite, it's still the most unique track in this game, and the only one that there's one of, but it's still not nearly enough to save Super Mario Kart from being dead last once again. Not gonna lie, Mario Kart 64 Special Cup is kind of underwhelming. DK's Jungle Parkway is a pretty solid one in my opinion. I really enjoy the theme and atmosphere, and that jump over the river is cool too. Yoshi Valley is an extremely unique track in the Mario Kart franchise. There is an alarming number of different paths to take to get to the end, but at the same time you don't know what place you're in until the end of the race, which is kind of neat but can also be annoying. And speaking of annoying, have you ever fell off the track in this one? It takes an unbelievable amount of time to get back. That combined with this game's hard to control physics, and that makes this track more annoying than anything for me. Personally, I think Banshee Boardwalk is the epitome of average. It's perfectly fine, I have nothing against it, but it's nothing that excites me either. I don't care for the atmosphere, and the layout is pretty uninteresting. But speaking of atmosphere, Mario Kart 64's Rainbow Road has one of the best out there. Sadly, this is really the only good part of the course though, because this Rainbow Road is known for being extremely long and boring. The race will last an astounding 6 minutes, and that's if you don't play on 50cc. That combined with all the guardrails and super simple layout makes this an underwhelming one. Mario Kart Super Circuit Special Cup is definitely not my favorite, but it's just slightly better than 64's. Lakeside Park is extremely similar to Riverside Park, as you can imagine, but this time there's a volcano that shoots lava at you, so that's pretty cool. Or hot, I guess. Broken Pier is similar to Boo Lake. Personally, I prefer Boo Lake, even though there isn't a lake, but Broken Pier is a perfectly fine ghost course. Bowser Castle 4 is like the most average Bowser Castle ever. Nothing really wrong with it, it's just okay, and I personally prefer the third one over this by a wide margin. And of course we have Rainbow Road. This is an interesting one for sure because of the jump pads at the ends of the road itself. Seems a little out of place on a Rainbow Road, but they're actually a lot of fun. You can do some pretty sick jumps once you get the hang of these things, and I would put this Rainbow Road above Mario Kart 64's because it's just more fun, and that's ultimately why it's above it on the list. Hate to put 7 this low because it's a good Special Cup, but just like the Star Cup video, the top 4 are all really good, so I just couldn't put this over them. DK Jungle is a fun Donkey Kong track. You'll race through the jungle, through a temple, and avoid some frogs because why not? If you know me, you know I think Rosalina's Ice World is underrated, but that doesn't mean I think it's really good or anything, just better than what most people say. It's a solid track and I love the music and aesthetics of it. This version of Bowser's Castle is one of the most forgotten ones, and I can see why because it's not a top tier one like the other versions we'll see later. But it's not bad by any means, it's just kind of an average 3D Bowser's Castle. The only thing that really stands out is the fact that there is an underwater section, which feels out of place, but yeah, this is just an okay rendition of Bowser's Castle. But we completely flip that with what is arguably the best Rainbow Road ever. I've talked about this one so many times on my channel, but this Rainbow Road is just incredible. So many things to see and drive on, you kind of forget you're in a race because it feels more like sightseeing. I really want to put 7 higher on the list due to how amazing this track is, but the other tracks in the cup just weren't good enough. And this is a Special Cup ranking, not a Rainbow Road ranking. So 7 is just gonna stay down here. Mario Kart 8 is coming in at number 4, and while this cup is pretty good, it's a bit of a mixed bag for me. Cloud Top Cruise is one of my favorites in the whole game. Obviously you're in the clouds and you even drive through some storm clouds. It's kind of like Sky Garden but on steroids. But next is Bone Dry Dunes, which might be my least favorite Nitro track. I wouldn't say it's terrible or anything, but it just feels kind of depressing with the colors and overall atmosphere. But I did used to hate it, and now I tolerate it, so I guess there's that. This rendition of Bowser's Castle is one of my favorites though, and feels similar to the Wii's version, which is the best in my opinion. It's even got a big mechanical Bowser, which certainly isn't original but still a welcomed addition. But yeah, this is a great Bowser's Castle and definitely helps out this Special Cup because the next track is a bit disappointing. And while it is disappointing, I'm not going to say Mario Kart 8's Rainbow Road is bad, it's just different than what I'm used to and what I want a Rainbow Road to be, which is a freaking rainbow. This version is space station themed, which kind of makes sense because this track is always in space, but the road itself doesn't really look like a rainbow. It looks more like a man-made road. Plus the layout is not all that interesting. I mean, the space station part is okay I guess, but nothing mind-blowing. So this Special Cup is overall good, but it's hard carried by Cloud Top Cruise and Bowser's Castle, so that's ultimately why it's not in the top 3. Number 3 is Mario Kart DS, and this is an all-around good Special Cup. Wario Stadium is an underrated track in my opinion. It's not quite as good as Waluigi Stadium, as it's a little more basic, but still a lot of fun. Peach Gardens is actually a really creative concept. Driving in Peach's yard and avoiding the hedges and chain chomps makes for an interesting track for sure, and it's one of my favorite DS tracks in general. DS Bowser's Castle is a pretty average one, I'd say. It's certainly not bad like some of the 2D ones, but not elite like Double Dash or Wii. It has the spinning cylinder and that one shortcut you'll probably think of, but that's all there really is to distinguish it. So it's solid but not anything groundbreaking. And honestly, I could say the same thing about Rainbow Road. The only thing that is different about the DS version is the loops, which are unique no doubt, but other than that, this Rainbow Road is average as it gets. It's still a very good track overall, but I did put it in the middle of my Rainbow Road ranking for a reason. It was unbelievably hard to choose between number 1 and number 2, but I did decide to put Double Dash here at 2. Wario Coliseum is one of the more unique tracks in the series. It's essentially a big cage and it's only 2 laps, which is a really good thing because it's a long course. It's pretty fun as well though and has a cool theme. If you love dinosaurs, then you'll love Dino Dino Jungle, cause well, it has dinosaurs. It also has some geysers, tough turns, and fun music. So it's an all-around solid track in my opinion. I can't decide if this Bowser's Castle is the second or third best in the series, but either way it's up there and it's a blast. It's got a dark atmosphere, challenging sections, and it was the first to have a big mechanical Bowser, so it should get some points for that. So even though it's not the best, it's still awesome and deserves all the praise it gets. Double Dash's Rainbow Road is not one I grew up playing, but it's certainly one of my favorites now as an adult. This one really makes you feel like you're racing in space and it's the last track of the game. The music makes it feel like this is the end of a long, great adventure, and it's just a magical feeling. And the track itself is great too. It can be a little frustrating for sure, but overall an incredible experience and one of my favorite Rainbow Roads. It was super close, but Wii is going to be back at the number 1 spot, and obviously this Special Cup is pretty fantastic. Dry Ruins is a desert track, but unlike most desert tracks, this one is actually good. Mostly because of the inside part where the sand is filling up more and more throughout the race, but overall it's just a fun track to race on. Moonview Highway is a traffic track, but this one is possibly the most fun and chaotic one we've seen. Mostly because the cars in this one can be super unpredictable and you are never safe from being hit. And that includes bomb cars, which of course will blow up if you touch them. That combined with the 10,000 boost pads on the course makes this race insane, but a really fun time. But now we get into the meat and potatoes of this cup, because this is the best Bowser Castle of all time in my opinion. From the very beginning when you fly into the castle, it is an adventure. The moving floor, the giant Bowser shooting fireballs, the lava geysers, so many cool obstacles and hazards. It's really just everything I like about Bowser's Castle all wrapped up into one. And it gets even better with the widely loved Wii Rainbow Road. This is an amazing track and has a great argument for being the best Rainbow Road. I think if you want a more traditional race, then this is the best, but if you like an overall experience, then the 3DS one is the best. Either way, this Rainbow Road is a fantastic course, and is one of the best in the entire Mario Kart franchise, and a big reason why Wii comes in at number 1. This combined with Wii having the best Bowser's Castle, and then having 2 other really good tracks as well, gave me no other choice than to give yet another first place to Mario Kart Wii. And that was the final Nitro Cup ranking. I know Wii very much dominated, but at least it didn't get first place every time. Anyways guys, thanks so much for watching all these rankings, and please let me know if you guys are interested in seeing me rank the Retro Cups as well. There's a lot less of them since not every game has them, but I still think those could be interesting videos. Yeah, I had fun with this series, and I'll probably be making a big compilation out of this series, so that should come out not long after this. Once again, thanks everyone for your continued support. Make sure to subscribe for more videos, and have a great day.